Welcome back, guys. So we're just finishing up morning milking. We've got 3 machines left out here, I think. 3 cows finishing up milking. Still got a ways to go on them. So once they're done, we were going to let them outside. They've been inside since, I guess it was the day after New Year they went out that night, but that would have been the last time they went out. So I guess it's been just about a little over a week since they've been outside because we've been having some really windy, not terribly cold weather, just so windy that it's bringing the temperatures down to where we just can't let them outside because the barn will freeze. Today is actually the warmest day we've had so far. It's already 30 degrees, nice and sunny outside. The wind is, again, just wild today, so they probably will be going out tomorrow. It's supposed to be a little bit warmer tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be in the low 30s. They could definitely go out as long as the wind, like I said, doesn't blow tomorrow as well, which it probably will. But one of these days, we're gonna get them outside so they can get some exercise. They're just getting a little antsy. They just don't really wanna be in here anymore. If it's terribly cold, they like being in here, but when it's warmer to them, like they can tell it's warm out, they want to go outside. They don't want to be stuck in here, and I don't blame them. They want to get out and stretch their legs. So I've got to take the last machines in so Brent can wash them, and then we'll get into the rest of our day. If you are new to these videos, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Taylor, and I work on a dairy farm in Maine with my boss Brent. He owns the farm, and for the most part, it's just him and I. We do all the milking, all the cropping. His brother helps out when he can. But pretty much just him and I doing everything, so we're very busy. But if you enjoy those kind of videos, don't forget to subscribe. Bye. The wind isn't as bad as when you first...
What?
The wind doesn't seem like as bad as when you first got here.
Yeah.
You like slow down a little bit.
I like that dry clutch tractor myself.
Brent's over here looking at tractors. What you looking at?
That big, wow, that.
My dream tractor. And it's only 112,000. I mean, come on, that's a deal.
If it was 2,600.
Yeah, that's more like it right there. Yeah, I'd take it for 12,600.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, a farmer can dream. So Brent thinks maybe they can go outside after all. It is warming up a lot faster than they said it was going to, and the wind is dying just a little bit, so they might be able to go outside today. It does feel pretty nice out there. We both just walked out and stood there for a while, and I didn't have a jacket on and it didn't feel too bad, so. What's going on over here, Claire? She's got 1/4 that milks out faster than the others. Where's your Claire? Hey, Claire. Are you ignoring me or something? Are you ignoring me? Are you ignoring me? We got 1 cow that's left milking. I'm gonna sweep the rest of the hay into them before we let them outside, just to let them clean that up a little bit. They have a lot left, so I'm gonna take this into Brent so he can wash it. By the way, they still haven't started using that code to check the milk, so I don't know what's going on there. Let's grab Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we are ready to let them out now. I had to move a bunch of stuff. We had to put the skid steer outside, move the sawdust cart because we'd already filled that because we thought we were going to leave them inside. So at least we have that ready to bed the stalls after they leave. They should be really excited, so I'll film that for you guys. Before we got done milking, we went around and we counted all the dry cows. Specifically wrote down the cows that we had recently dried off, like within the last week or two. Because those cows, if you accidentally put it on them, that could cause big problems. You could ruin a whole tank of milk. If you didn't catch it before the milk truck picked it up, that would be really bad, because then you could ruin the whole entire load of milk, and that costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So you want to make sure that you know where your dry cows are, especially when they come in with all the other cows. It's pretty easy here because we know the cows personally. You know which cow you've dried off because you know that cow. You know whether or not she's dry or not. So you just have to pay really close attention when they keep going in and out, that nobody's lost a leg band or anything. Shut off the fans right now so the barn can stay a little bit warmer. Satchmo's gonna be angry because his lady's leaving him. Making sure they can go out too. They already know what's happening. Making sure they can go outside also helps the cows get bred faster, helps our intervals of calving. If they can go out now, some of the cows that have calved a few months ago will get bred back sooner, and then we can have our calves being spaced better. That helps a lot in the milk production department. So we just roll this tarp down when it gets windy or cold, so I just gotta roll this up. There's a bunch of ice on it. Easy, girls. Come on.
I bet they're right at that tank.
Come on, hon.
Come on.
Let's go, girlfriend. It's Patty. She won't. She won't. Yeah.
Come on. Hope they like going out.
All right, so we got the girls outside, got the barn cleaned out and bedded. We have 2 cows that we left inside. One of them, I've told you guys in a couple videos previous that we leave her in because she just does not get along with anybody outside. She's a timid cow, so if she gets out of a stall, out in the free stall to go eat or something, they will beat on her until she falls down. She just doesn't get along with anybody, so she stays inside until they can go out onto the pad and out into the free stall. Just gives them more room, more space for her to get away from everybody else. Obviously, when they go out to pasture, she goes out there as well. But when they're just staying in the free stall, she stays in because they pick on her. The other cow that we left in is our most close to calving. I showed you guys her in the last video. She's bagged up a little bit more. She's still got, her date is a week. She could calve at any time. She's definitely not going to calve today. She's not showing any signs of that. She's not acting uncomfortable, dancing around. She's not getting up and laying down constantly. She has no fluid coming out of her. She's definitely not going to calve today, but the reason we don't let them out with the other cows when they're this close to calving is simply because it's like playing Russian roulette with them. And that's not a game you want to be playing with a $3,000 cow. If they had been consistently going out and they weren't so excited and rowdy, we might let her out, but we probably still wouldn't chance it because when they're this close to calving, they're cumbersome. They can't move around as well as everybody else. Obviously, they're wide as a car. Their bag is swollen. They just can't move around as fast as the other cows. And they just shouldn't be out there with the other cows getting pushed around. If she slipped and fell or slipped and split, that would be the end. She's so close to calving, it would be too hard on her body, and she probably wouldn't make it back from that. So that's why we don't let cows out that are this close to calving, she'll stay in here until she calves, and then she can go out probably a week after calving, make sure she's healing up good and everything and getting around okay. If she starts to calve and we're not going to be around, we will put her down in our, I call it a maternity pen. It's really just an area that we gate off that we can put a cow that's close to calving if we're not going to be around to watch her. If we're going to be around, we can leave her right where she is. They're honestly more comfortable right here calving because it's what they're used to. They like being in the stall. Kind of nerves them up to move them into a different space when they're going to calve, and you really just don't want a cow that's nervous in calving. It adds a lot of stress to them. So yeah, that was a long-winded way of saying we just don't let our cows out that are that close because it's dangerous for them. Anyway, oh, there was one question that I wanted to address that somebody had asked in the last video. I had mentioned that that cow that I was just talking about didn't really like being on my side. So the reason I said it like that is this is actually the side that I milk on. It's not my side. I don't own all the cows on this side. It's just the side that I always milk on. Brent milks on that side and I milk on this side. It's always been that way. When I milked for Brent and he had somebody that milked with me, originally I filled in for Brent whenever he wanted time off. That's how I started working here. So I would work with somebody else that always milked on that side. So that's kind of how this became my side. For the last 8 years, I've milked over here every single day, pretty much every day. I have had time off, but pretty much every day. So that's why I call it my side. I do own about a half dozen cows. Some of you guys have asked how many I own. It's around a half dozen. I would have to count them, but I'm pretty sure it's either 6 or 7 that I own. I wish I owned half the barn, but not yet. Give it time. Brent just went inside for some coffee and breakfast, so while we're waiting for him to come back out, I'm gonna put a few things away. Yesterday he went and got some udder wash. This is just what we use. This is a concentrated gill udder wash. What you do is you just mix a certain amount of this. We mix it heavier than they say to mix it, but I think it's like 1 ounce to 6 gallons. I don't think these ones say anymore how to mix it. It always just says contact your company or representative for specific instructions, but they used to have instructions on them. So each one of these makes quite a lot of dip. One, I think, lasts us just about a month. So he picked up 2 of those. We had been using this Dairyland brand from a Tractor Supply. That's where you get it around here anyway. And it's the heavier concentrated stuff, but it still isn't as good as this. And it's pretty close to the same price. So we only used that. We only switched over to that for a second just because we couldn't find this. Our usual dealer didn't have any. So we just picked up this just to get us by. And it definitely is not as good as the gill udder wash. It's just thinner and it takes a lot more. And even our teat health is kind of gone down a little bit using that just because I don't think it has as much lanolin in it. It does say that it has it, but it doesn't seem to keep their teeth very moisturized. So it really doesn't matter because our dealer got that back in stock. So we picked up 2 of those, and then I think Brent also picked up 5 feet of the hose that we use. The cow's water line runs along the back of their neck rail, and then we have lines that run down to their water bowls. This is, if you guys have never seen a water bowl before, there's at least 2 kinds of water bowls. So one of them has a paddle in the bottom and they press it, which personally I think is better because they can press it, but they can't just stand there and hold it because it will, you know, literally cover their nose and drown them. If they would just press it and hold onto it and it just filled the bowl, it would cover their nose, and they obviously wouldn't do that. With these buttons, which they just hit it with the side of their nose and run it like that, a lot of cows like to rest their face on it and then just run it over. So there's a specific cow we have here. Her name is Dolly. She will just stand there with her nose pressed up against the button, sleeping while the water bowl floods her stall. So in that way, the ones with the paddles on the bottom are better because the cows can't flood them. Obviously, they could still break or something, and then they could flood the stalls in the barn. So anyway, he picked up 5 feet of the lines that run from there down to the bowls. So 5 feet, I think, does 2 water lines. I think they're just under 2.5 feet long. So we got a couple extra of those. Now, since he's still not out here, I'm gonna take care of some of the Christmas decorations. So sad. Gotta take the little lights down. I mean, I guess they're not really Christmas decorations. They're just lights, candles in the window. But they're starting to get wet. It's getting warmer and the condensation drips down the window panes and it lands on these. We don't want to ruin them before next year if we can possibly keep them. So I think, how do you get in these? I think you just pull them from the top. I feel like you have to pull on them really violently for them to come out. Oh, there we go. So they have 2 AAA batteries in those. So we're going to take them out and make sure that we can use them again next year. So I'm going to put those in this little dry cow box right there. Then I have to go upstairs and get the box that those came in. This room is kind of just where we put junk, so like extra 5-gallon pail lids. We used to do hydroponics, so those are the containers that we used to grow that in, which I do want to update you guys on. Once we get back downstairs, I'll tell you guys the decisions we've made about the hydroponics and everything. So, need this box so we can put all of our lights in there. But first, I want to check to see how much grain is left in the grain bin. So there's really no good way to check this because you can't open that because obviously it's pushing against the door. So if you were to open the door, it would all just spill out. So until it gets below that point, you can't open it up and look. So you just kind of have to knock on it. So that's obviously still there. So I would say about halfway up that door is where it ends. So we still got quite a lot left because you got this hopper down here. And then this whole, I'm not sure how long it is, probably 4 feet at least. It might be 5 feet square part all the way up until there. So there's quite a lot of grain left. There's probably maybe a little over a ton left, I would say. So we still got a ways to go. Take these down. Looks like the spiders have made a nice little mess of that. Lovely. See if we can fit them all back in here. I guess I'll just set this here and then we'll go down through and grab all of them. Oh, that one's frozen. Whoa. I thought I could get them all, but I can't. Actually pretty nice in here today, even with the cows outside. Whoa. That's all of them. So I think we had, let's see, I had one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra, but I think I had batteries in all those, so I gotta take those ones out too. So that's the only one that doesn't have batteries in it. Okay, this one's on for some reason. Whoa. There. Ended up with quite a few batteries. So those should be good to keep track of those. Now, how many of these do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had one casualty. Christmas season is officially over. Now the only thing left to do is take the wreath down. That's still up. actually think it fared pretty well. It's still pretty green. So sad. Time just goes faster and faster every year. It is the next night. The girls went out yesterday and they did perfect. They came back in. Everybody was fine. Nobody harmed themselves. The biggest issue that we had was one of the cows lost her neck chain when they were out there and we couldn't find it. So we did have to put a new neck chain on a cow, but that was the only issue we had yesterday. They went out today as well. It's pretty much the same as yesterday, except the wind died completely, and it's also snowing just a little bit. So we now have a little dusting of snow that we didn't have before. You can see, not much, but some. Starting to look like an actual winter out there. And then we had a surprise baby tonight. So one of our cows that's due date was a ways off. She calved early, and this is her. This is Patty. She is a full-blooded Jersey. She's a very small Jersey. This is her third calf, I believe. She didn't bag up as much as we were hoping she would. She kind of had issues on her last lactation, so she didn't do as well as she could have. So this is basically like a second lactation for her, but you guys have probably seen her on multiple videos. I put sunglasses on her one time. She's just the sweetest little cow. She loves snacks. She's very friendly. She's like a dog. So I'll go up and show you her baby. It is actually a heifer this time, which I was excited about because we haven't gotten any heifers, but she is a Hereford cross, so we can't keep her, but she is just the cutest. She's a tiny, tiny little thing. She's got this cute mottled little face. I put hay in here for her instead of sawdust because Mom didn't clean her up very good. I'm not really sure why. She just wasn't super interested in cleaning her up. But she is a heifer. Once she's napped a little bit, she's kind of had a hectic few minutes moving her around, so I'll let her settle down and then I'll get her up, spray her navel with some iodine just to make sure that doesn't get infected, and then give her some of Mom's colostrum just to make sure she gets a nice healthy start in life. I can't tell right now, but I think she does have horns. But she's so sweet. Say hi, baby. She said, I don't know what to think of you. We were hoping she would be a belted cross, but I'm afraid she's a Hereford. We would have been able to keep you.
Little heifer.
What?
Little heifer?
Yep. Little girl. First one, really.
She's not that tiny for...
No, she's not terribly small. She's actually pretty
Did you put hay
thick.
in
Like,
there for her?
she's pretty chunky. Yeah, well, her mom didn't clean her off very good, so.
No, I don't think you had her very long ago. How long is she dry?
Since the last time was, pretty sure it was 6 weeks, but I'll go look. I think she's kind of cute.
Maybe that lady would
Friend
buy
said she was homely. Mean.
homely as a hedge fence.
She said, so are you. So there. She's got
Well,
little
the fan's on.
She's got little Jersey buck teeth. Look at them.
Looks like
She could be a belted, I suppose.
it's a heifer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's kind of cute.
I think it's a heifer.
That's too
We'll
bad.
call it a heifer. Okay.
All right, bye for now. So now that we have a fresh cow to milk out and a calf to feed, we do need to get right into milking because tonight's going to take a little bit longer than usual. But I almost forgot that yesterday I told you guys I was going to tell you about the hydroponics and why we stopped doing it and our plans for that. I don't know why, but I just keep forgetting to tell you guys what's going on with that. It's been forever. Probably some of you guys watching don't even know that we used to do hydroponics. So we used to grow some and feed it to the cows. It was amazing feed. The cows didn't really like it at first. It took them a while to get onto it, but once we did, it really helped milk production. Once you fed it to them for 2 or 3 days, the 2 cows that we were doing it on came up 10 to 15 pounds. It just made an amazing difference, and the seed to do it was very cheap, and it was just a great way to make some extra milk. The unfortunate part was it takes a lot of space. It takes a warm area to do it, which obviously Maine is not warm enough to grow things. Even if you had a greenhouse, you'd have to heat it. It's just not warm enough in the winter. So our plans have kind of changed in that area. So if we were gonna do it, we would do it to feed the cows once the pasture dies out, probably in July. So we would feed them from July until, you know, whenever they would come in for the rest of the year. So like from July to November, the pasture goes down a lot in the first few months that they're out on it. and the cows really have to graze. They have to be a good grazing cow to actually get anything off the pasture after that. Some of the cows do, and some of the cows just won't bother. So if we could supplement with that fodder and keep them up on that green grass, that would really help a lot in the late summer, early fall. So that would kind of be our plan for that. But we would have to have a greenhouse. So we've been looking for a greenhouse, kind of like a medium-sized one. People that have them, even if it's just the frame, typically want a lot of money for them. So we've been trying to find one for a decent price that maybe doesn't have a cover on it, and you might have to, you know, buy a cover to put it on it. But we haven't found one yet, so that is where things lie. The reason that we're not doing it anywhere in the barn, we were going to do it in that building over there. After being in that for a few months, it attracted rats like unbelievable. So we didn't have any problem with rats before that, and all of a sudden you just would see rats all the time. So once we stopped doing that, we got that back under control, and I haven't seen one in a really long time. Obviously it's a farm, so you're gonna have a few rats around, but it was just crazy there for a while, so we stopped doing that. You obviously can't have that attached to the barn or anything, because for some reason, I don't know what it is, but something about those seeds really interests the rats. So we would have to have it in a green shed that's not attached to the barn, preferably pretty far away from the barn as well. So yeah, it's a long time coming, but I did want to update you guys on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and comment down below. And also comment down below whether you think that's a Hereford calf or a Dutch belted calf. I think I'm just hopeful. I think I'm seeing things that I want to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. So keep it real, keep farming, and I hope you join us in the next video. Bye guys.